Here we go.
With the 8th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Michael Penix Jr.
Well, there it is.
Quarterback, Washington.
That is the first surprise of the NFL Draft, to say the least. The 4th quarterback off the board is Michael Penix Jr. He is a top 10 selection, and he is going to the place that just made a very expensive investment in a veteran quarterback. And it's kind of wild that Kirk Cousins arrives in Atlanta. He signs in Atlanta. He leaves Minnesota to go to Atlanta. Minnesota is sticking around, and with this selection, having J.J. McCarthy get one more pick closer to them, with the Bears on the clock, the Jets after them, and there is the Vikings. But again, placing that aside, Michael Penix Jr. is going to Atlanta.
And this is a huge arm. You see Joe Flacco's name on the bottom. The way the ball spins out of his hand, it is very reminiscent of Joe Flacco, and you talk about Justin Herbert just spinning the football. It is ridiculous with his arm strength. This is from the Texas game, attacking over the top down the field. He can play on top of the coverage. This was a question mark. In the Texas game, he answered it. His ability to navigate around some pressure, move around within the pocket. Look at this placement to Rome Odunze down the field. Beautiful ball. Again, outside the numbers, he's fantastic. Over the top, he's fantastic. And when you need to fit the ball in tight windows, watch him beat the safety with this throw. Again, it looks like he's throwing a Nerf ball.
Yeah.
He has got a ridiculous arm. Now, there's injuries. That's something that some teams were concerned about. His 4 seasons at Indiana all ended in injury.
But the last 2 years,
he's been healthy the last 2 years, and he's played out
him.
of his mind. But this is fascinating because we were talking about he's a little bit older.
Yeah.
Do you want to get him on the field? He's not getting on the field with Kirk Cousins in that contract right now.
Well, I'll tell you, when he gets on the field, all right, you said he throws a great deep ball. I would agree. He throws the best deep to intermediate pass in this draft, but it's more than just a throw, it's a pass. The ability to pass the ball with leverage down the field, when you watch him, everything is always away from the defender. We talk about 50-50 situations with wide receivers. Well, he gives his wide receivers better odds than that because the ball is always in the proper spot down the field. And I think that's an incredibly rare trait. He's got long arms, big hands, and he spins it as well as anybody. When you just look at a guy that takes the ball and is in the pocket and controls the game from the pocket, there was nobody better in this draft.
Michael Penix is an Atlanta Falcon. My goodness, the surprise of the draft, without question, the 4th quarterback off the board to a team nobody expected to take a QB. Have at it, Buck.
So no one expected him to take a QB in the top 10. Thought about maybe in the 2nd round, but Michael Penix Jr. in Atlanta. You're thinking about Kirk Cousins. You think about the firepower and weapons that Atlanta Falcons have. You need a big-time playmaker, someone that can throw the ball down the field. There's no one better in the draft at throwing the deep ball than Michael Penix.
Let's go.
And when we go back and we look at the playoffs, when we watched him versus Texas, we were talking about this dude being an absolute deal.
Yeah.
Surgical precision, the way he carved them up. Didn't have the same kind of game in Michigan. I feel like that impacted the way that people viewed him. But when you look at the tape, super clean, pushing the ball down the field, pocket awareness, anticipation, timing. He has all of that. And if you want someone who can operate from the pocket, Michael Penix was your dude. So it's early for some, but it certainly makes sense if you love the quarterback that can deal from the pocket.
Look at my guy outside the pocket, too. He makes some good movements within the pocket, showed you some athleticism in his pro day to put some of those injury concerns to rest. Dude ran 4.4, okay, at his pro day. And then, boy, he was absolutely surgical throughout his career at Washington. Had a phenomenal connection with Kalen DeBoer, his offensive staff there with the Huskies, even going back to his Indiana days, and now is franchise QB in waiting for the Atlanta Falcons. And this is a guy who's 24 years old, or 23 years old.
I'm trying to figure out what we're doing here.
The Arizona Cardinals have traded their 35th pick to the Atlanta Falcons. With that 35th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Ruke Orhorhoro. Let's go ahead.
All right, so Andre's hooked on phonics. And we got a twitchy defensive tackle out of Clemson going to Atlanta.
Yeah,
Ruke Orhorhoro.
Orhorhoro, best name in the draft. Scooby-Doo. Very twitchy, very explosive. A 1.67 10 time at the combine, which was the second best among interior defensive linemen. I had him a little bit lower than this because I thought there was work to be done. He's a raw player. You see those tools, the explosiveness, but just trying to get a better sense, a better feel for the game. Defeating blocks, finishing plays, those are areas that he can improve on. But Joel, when you watch him play, the explosiveness jumps off the screen.
Well, and every quarterback in these clips is saying, "Ruh-roh," as this guy breaks through. He also has got a great background in terms of who he played for. Nick Eason is the defensive line coach there at Clemson. He played and coached in the NFL.
So one night after Atlanta gives us the mystery machine, we now get the Orhorhoro. Somebody had to do it.
I'm going to be honest, that's not bad. But Ruke Orhorhoro, go ahead. This is your job.
Orhorhoro.
Bill, are we sure?
Orhorhoro.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Row your boat.
Row your boat, baby.
So this feels early for him, but it wouldn't have last year. In his 2022 tape, I thought he was terrific, a lot of upside. Felt like he just kind of coasted. You know, sometimes you go back and then you maybe regret it. You say, man, I wish I was out playing pro ball right now doing that. And I felt like he kind of cruised this year, but the 22 tape shows who he's got a chance to be. He's very twitchy off the ball. He's got good strength for his size. He can play 5 technique. He can play 4-eye. He can play 3 technique. He can even play some on the nose if you need him to get off the ball and make some things happen. I think he's still a little unpolished and inconsistent at the point of attack, Bucky, but the talent is there. Right now, what you're doing is he's a better run defender for me than Johnny Newton. So I think this is really about finding a guy that you think is maybe a complete player, where Newton is maybe a little better pass rusher.
Yeah, 12 sacks in his collegiate career at 294 pounds at the combine, runs a 4.89 40-yard dash. Some athleticism there from the defensive tackle position.
With the 74th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Bralen Trice, linebacker, Washington.
A lot of Washington Huskies coming off the board over 2 days. Very productive. He's a power rusher off the edge. You see the size there at 245 pounds. He plays much bigger than that. He's going to test you. He's going to get his hands right inside. He's going to try and pry open that inside shoulder. That's his go-to move. Not super explosive and twitchy in terms of just dynamic athleticism, but what he is strong as an ox. And that upper body power, it worked quite well for that Husky front.
I don't think this is what the Atlanta Falcons fans thought when they heard edge going into this draft, Joel. But he's a good football player who plays better than his testing at the combine.
Enforcer of that team.
With the 109th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Dorlus, defensive end, Oregon. Let's go!
Another Oregon player.
I'll tell you what, I like Brandon Dorlus a lot as a player, but I think I might like the way it rolls off his tongue even better than what I saw on the tape. That was fantastic. Very twitched up, a little bit of a tweener. It's interesting that he goes to the Atlanta Falcons because Grady Jarrett, that's what he would aspire to be, an inside penetrating defensive tackle with outstanding quickness. So that's a great fit for him. Also, I thought there was a chance the Atlanta Falcons CD, they might take Byron Murphy at pick number 8. This is like the next level down, but a similar style of player they got here with great value in the 4th round.
Let's examine this very quickly. Grady Jarrett has been good for so long. If they win the Super Bowl against New England, he's likely the MVP. He wrecked them that day. Ruke Orhorhoro was a little bit of a surprise pick for them in the 2nd round. Kind of raw inside player. David Onyemata is there. Whoever the defensive line coach is in Atlanta, Peter, he's got his work cut out for him because he's got some guys coming in that need to learn how to play that position, but they have the tools to do so.
With the 143rd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select J.D. Bertrand, linebacker, Notre Dame.
London's got their hands full with Germany now in terms of the second home for the NFL. Germany is all over this draft. J.D. Bertrand, for me, I think this is really more of a special teams type player. He doesn't have great range sideline to sideline from a speed standpoint. He is a 3-year starter. He's a 2-time team captain. He's somebody who loves ball. He is going to be in that. He's going to be an early in, laid out type of player. I think the physical limitations are something that will maybe limit him as an NFL player. But in terms of the football character is very, very high. And once again, he can be a backup with the good mentality and then can play on special teams as well. I think that's what the Atlanta Falcons are getting here with this pick.
With the 187th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Jase McClellan, running back, Alabama.
Okay, I'm okay with this pick. Jase McClellan, I thought had more. Fifth, sixth round, this about is where he should go. No nonsense, Alabama back. Runs wherever you draw the play up, that's where he's going to run it. He is going to get what's blocked. He's tough. He'll get downhill between the tackles and finish with his pads. So solid player. I don't think anything special stands out. But at the running back position, you can go through historically and look. And as long as you're decisive and you got a little something to you, whether it's some power or some elusiveness or just decisiveness and getting in there between the tackle, you can play in the NFL and you can get carries. And sometimes you end up doing way better than people think. Jase McClellan is a pedigree runner, Bucky, who, he's just solid at what he does.
Yeah, really solid for him.
With the 187th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Casey Washington, wide receiver, Illinois.
Coming off a career year, guys, 49 receptions, 670 yards, 4 receiving touchdowns this past year. So Atlanta, once again, just trying to put some pieces into place for that team's offense. Yeah, good size, below average career production. He's really physical at the catch point, is willing to get into it with you. He has the foot quickness to beat press and to beat coverages. I like the competitive nature that he plays with. He has the size and strength and aggression to become a solid run blocker as well. Only 4 touchdowns and 122 career catches. That bothers me a little bit, but sometimes there are other elements to it. Below average long speed to get that vertical separation. I think that's something that you have to be a little bit concerned with. He's also a very leggy strider, so not all routes are going to be built the same for him. There are certain routes that you don't want him running in terms of underneath because it'll take him too long to get in and out. So 6th round pick with a lot of the competitive elements you want, but you don't have the productivity, and I think there's some limitations to the route.
With the 197th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Zion Logue, defensive end, Georgia.
Okay, short trip from Georgia to Atlanta. Boy, he looks the part now. Looks the part. I thought the tapes. I don't think he plays like he looks all the time. Sure. Which is probably why he's in the 6th round instead of the 2nd round. Because man, he's got an early pick body type, but just a little inconsistent production. Not really there during his career.